Hi Didi, welcome to yet another episode. Uh, very happy that India won the third Test match in Ahmedabad. Uh, uh, Slightly disappointed that in Australian Open we did not see Medvedev or any of the younger players dethroning the Joker. But extremely delighted to see Naomi Osaka once again winning the championship. I think she's also getting stronger physically. When I saw her first, she did not look as strong as she was looking in this tournament. Anyway, let's first come to the first love, closer home. World Test Championship in line. We lost the first Test match in Chennai. Somewhere I just felt that the mental fatigue of Australian tour was also showing on the Indian team in the very first Test match, and I think England was pretty well prepared. Nonetheless, the third Test match in Ahmedabad, the pink ball Test match. So there are three, four things. Obviously, we won inside 2 days. The pitch has come under criticism, and we'll come to all of that. The first question I want to ask you is that do you agree with England's rotation policy in a time where not much cricket has been played? I don't find any sense in it, but would love to hear your views.
Look, any strategy is considered good if it works. Let's put it that way. I'll bring a parallel to what is happening in the English Premier League, and what Pep Guardiola is doing with the Man City team. He is, I play the FPL, and which is why I kind of uh, am following it more deeply this year than I used to in the previous years. So City is at the top of the EPL, is playing well in the Champions League, and you don't know what is the 11 that Pep Guardiola will select because he's rotating his players, and they're winning. So the strategy is working for them.
Yeah.
Now, in England's case, for the cricket team, when they won in Sri Lanka 2-0, everybody was saying, the strategy is working. If they would have won, the strategy would have been wonderful. Now, because they did not win, we're questioning the strategy. We are questioning whether they should have, had one of those players or not.
Okay.
Now,
So
my,
let
my,
me
my
let
point
me
is
just
that,
let me just bring in. I will just stop you for a moment. I mean,
mm,
what is the point of sending Moeen Ali back after playing one Test match? I understand rotation is good,
but
but
Moeen Ali, I think himself wanted to be with his family. I think if
that
I
is
remember, if I
so. Then
reading
he
the
should not
report.
have been selected. So I mean, you play James Anderson for one Test match. Any which way is a one format player. I have not seen him bowling longer spells. You cannot keep James Anderson out of Test match cricket if that's the only format that he plays, irrespective of the pitch, right? Similarly, Tom Bess also, I think Tom Bess, he also
Tom
bowled.
Bess was something that I don't know. I've been hearing on commentary that he didn't bowl well in the second innings, but I think he bowled beautifully in the first innings.
Yeah, he bowled
And
well. I mean, what else do you? So, for example, Josh Butler is back. Then Johnny Bairstow is back. Then he's out of the team. Then he's what it does is that see, cricket is not just out and out a physical sport. It is a game of skill also, and you need to be in some sort of a rhythm. I understand in football that it is a whole season, right? It's like playing 40,
yeah,
50 matches over the year, and football is far more a physical game as compared to cricket. So while like cricket is also very physical, but not as physical as or high intensity as football, right? So to keep and right before the World Test Championship, it could be a good strategy. You could have tried it after the World Test Championship. What is the point
but
of
again, the point
trying it
again here is
now?
that you are talking from an importance perspective. I don't know how. So England, for when they have assumed that we will rotate, they've also taken into factors what the result will pan out.
Yeah, I
So
just want to do a logical examination of the decision because to me it does not meet any logic. I don't
yeah,
think
it
that in the
apparently it doesn't. But again, the point is that if they have, I think they would have kept in mind they're playing 17, 18 test matches this year. They will have to keep everybody, fit. Plus, you will have players playing the IPL limited overs. They'll also. So I don't know what it is. Look, on apparent terms, it doesn't make sense. But this is what I want to say is, even if England would have played with a full strength squad,
See,
I doubt it.
that is irrespective. Did that is irrespective. I don't want to go there. But as a team, will you give yourself the best chance of winning in India by playing your best 11, or will you not give yourself that chance? That is the more
So
important question here.
that is again the point where you're talking about how much importance are you giving to that.
Are you rotating only for the sake of rotating? What is the point of rotating players if you're not winning the matches? What is the point? And why are you?
And they haven't played that much cricket as well. So
Yeah, that's the
in
whole point.
isolation, the
That's the point. Like, you are playing cricket after a gap of 10 months. Then why are you rotating players? You rotated player after the India series. I would have understood that, yes, the India series is done. Now you can rotate players. Like in this series, it's the beginning of the season and you're not playing your best 11. Half your batsmen are back home. So either there is not enough importance of Test cricket, or I don't know what is the logic behind it.
I don't think it's about importance of Test cricket. I think they are just trying to conserve. And as I said, if they would have been, they won the first test. They won the 2 tests in Sri Lanka, so they were on a high key. But the point is that every strategy, if it fails, it becomes a wrong strategy.
See,
So
I
if it
don't
would have,
think that winning in Sri Lanka, they should take a lot of positives from it. The Sri Lankan cricket team right now is like a B grade club cricket team, to be honest. Their bowlers cannot bowl in one place 6 deliveries. So I don't think that the English team should be fooled by their victory in Sri Lanka against this kind of a team. Had they won against the likes of Mahela Jayawardene, Kumar Sangakkara, and Muttiah Muralidharan and Rangana Herat, I would have taken the point. Anyway, so that was my first thing because I found it very amusing. Number one, I don't think that a strategy makes sense if it is not tactical enough. You are right at the cusp of the World Test Championship, okay, and there is a fair
perhaps they
chance.
would have thought that we anyways won't qualify. I don't know.
No,
We
no,
don't know
no.
what is going in them.
Yeah. So you cannot take you cannot make such decisions before an important. Will you do a similar thing if you're playing the World Cup finals? Would you have rotated?
Again, the point is how much importance are you giving to that?
No,
So we don't know that.
well, for a country, I mean, as a viewer, I'm
With the
assuming that
World
the
Test
world.
Championship happening in Lords, I'm assuming they would have
Of course,
given.
it's got to be. It's as good as a World Cup tournament, a 50 over World Cup tournament, or even a 20 over World Cup tournament. It is a World Cup and World Test Championship, and England is a fantastic Test cricket side. If you ask me, they have got great depth in their side. So I think it is something that their administrators, they have really messed it up for the English team, and not just for the team but also for the fans, because we want to see the best team playing. We don't want an England team playing here with half the names that we don't even know. Jack Crawley and all of those players, their averages are in 30s. So
Apart from Root, no one's average is above 40. I think in this
yeah.
game.
Anyway, now let's come to the shortest, I think the fifth shortest or something, or the shortest test match of the modern era at least. Now, enough has been talked about the pitch. So I want to hear from you that what was it? Poor pitch, great bowling, poor
No,
batting.
no, you know, I was Virat Kohli was saying, I think at the presentation, that 21 of the wickets fell to straight deliveries, right? To be honest, I am also not very confident on India batting well on spinning tricks.
Yeah.
I'll bring a point which Lakshman Sivaramakrishnan had mentioned in the commentary box, where he said that he gave an example, except in the famed famous Indian batting lineup of the first decade of this century. You had Sehwag, you had Gambhir. He left out Tendulkar because Tendulkar is a prodigy. You had Dravid, you had Ganguly, you had Lakshman, you had Dhoni. All of them played a significant amount of first class cricket before playing for India.
Mm.
Which is why their ability to play spinners was exceptional. You tell me, if you put Sehwag today in this squad, he will rip apart any bowler. in
Yeah.
any kind of spinning wicket. So and Gavaskar also mentioned the fact that, and if you read, if you go through the pages of Indian history, you will see, especially Ranji Trophy, you will see a Gavaskar facing a Prasanna or a Bedi in domestic cricket.
Yeah.
So your best bowlers are facing, you are facing the best bowlers, and your best batsmen are facing the best bowlers. So it's not just England. I think that if England would have somehow made 200, 250 runs in the second innings, of course, which seemed very, very difficult, India also perhaps couldn't have won this match. So I think in general, batting against spin on turning pitches is not something that even India is doing the way it should do. Number one. Number two, of course, no one likes to see a test match to finish within 2 days, right? You can go. Of course, it seemed like an accident pitch, but somehow it felt like every delivery could get a wicket. That's how it was, and uh, and sometimes it felt that like what Ben Stokes did. I think that was the only possible way you could score when you're being aggressive. You're coming out of the wicket, hitting the spinners out, and uh, I don't know if such kind of wickets are good for Test cricket, but as an Indian fan, I will not complain, because sometimes if you go to New Zealand, you will find pitches. There is no difference between the color of the pitches and the
Yeah.
outfield.
Yeah.
So if they can play to their strengths, we can also play to our strengths. I don't see there is anything else. And number one, number two is, if playing against if playing against the moving ball is a skill, playing against the spinning ball is also a skill. If playing on fast pitches is a skill, playing against on a dust ball is also a skill. So that as long as the pitch is legally allowed, I don't think that there is an issue.
Yeah.
But of course, no one wants to see a 2-day test match cricket. So
So my question to you, Didi, is that yeah, nobody wants to see a 2-day test match, but then was it the pitch or was it just poor batsmanship from both the sides?
I don't know. I think I didn't find batting. Rohit Sharma batted well. Zach Crowley batted well in the first half of the England innings. I don't know the way most of them got out to balls which it did not turn.
So okay, let me just uh, bring you to some of the dismissals that happened, and I think it will. You there?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just bring you to some of the discussions, and I think then what it will do is that it will make it very, very clear, because I was watching and observing it fairly closely. So for example, if I remember Virat Kohli's dismissal in the first innings when he got out to Jack Leach, I thought that
Trying to
was
cut a ball which was too close to the body actually.
it was just a straight ball, short of
Yeah.
good length, innocuous delivery. In an ideal world, you should have just if you were on the back foot, he should have used a vertical bat instead of a horizontal bat, and he got out. Rohit Sharma, he got LBW out to a straightish kind of a ball, sweeping. The ball had done nothing alarming. Okay, Joe Root, he got out. How did he get? Yeah, he. I think Akshar Patel got him. The
Sweeping,
LBW.
I think, has caught it the fine leg.
No, that was in the
Caught it fine.
previous test match. This test match, he was stuck on the crease, neither forward nor back.
Oh yeah.
Akshar Patel bowled a simple arm ball. It was just a straight delivery. It was just a straight angled delivery. Joe Root played the wrong line. He got out. Johnny Bairstow, in both the innings, he got out to deliveries which were just angled and straight balls. He just played the wrong line. It was not that the ball he was playing for the turn. If you look at the replays, he just played the wrong line. And so, even the last wicket, Ben Foakes in the first innings, he went back to cut a ball which crashed onto his stumps. Again, a simple, angle delivery. So when I look at the dismissals, which have Shubman Gill got out to a poor shot in the first inning, trying to hook Jofra Archer, then and he got out. And I think the only the two balls that stand out to me, which were the craft of the bowler, where he fooled the batsman, was R. Ashwin doing
Ben Fox first innings, Ben Fox second innings.
Pope. Pope.
Sorry, Oli Pope first innings and
Oli Pope.
Oli Pope second innings.
Beautiful drift and beautiful control on spin. I mean, similar kind of delivery. Steve Smith in Australia, he was good enough a batsman to edge them to slip. Oli Pope
Hmm.
could not even edge and he got bowled. That's the difference between Steve Smith and Oli Pope. But I don't think that there is a lot of undue criticism about the pitch. But sorry to say, the pitch would have been a graveyard if people are out defending on the front foot and suddenly the ball jumps, it hits your glove,
Exactly.
you get out. Suddenly there is disproportionate turn. People are saying that how can Joe Root take four wickets, 5 wickets? Well, 3 or 4 of the wickets that have been given to Joe Root were useless shots. Rishabh Pant played a useless shot. Akshar Patel, he danced down the track to
Yeah, no business to
right,
come down the wicket where it was not
correct.
needed. Anyways, yeah.
R. Ashwin was playing a slog sweep and he did not time it well. And I think the only way England wanted to play spin on this track was to do reverse sweeping and not even conventional sweeping, but reverse sweeping and reverse whiting. So, in my opinion, I don't think that poor batsmanship should let the blame trickle down onto the pitch. Uh, the pitch that comes to
Yeah,
mind,
I don't think the pitch was as
yeah,
bad as it has been
no, no,
made.
no. See,
First of
that
all,
it was a spinning track, no doubt about it. No doubts about it. It was a spinning track, but it was not a test match that could have been finished in 2 days. Batsmen from both the sides they played poorly, both the sides.
absolutely, and absolutely not just this test match. I'm telling you. Imagine if Kumble was bowling in this pitch, what would have happened?
Yeah,
With all due respect to Ashwin, we'll talk about Ashwin the cricketer, but imagine if Kumble was bowling in this wicket. This wicket did not have that variability of bounce or that variability of, it was not like that the ball was keeping low and it
yeah.
didn't have it. It was more or less an even wicket, but of course it was spinning. It felt like there were snakes on the wicket, but I generally feel that our ability to bat against quality spin bowling has
See,
has deteriorated significantly.
see. I
Not
think overall
in
batsmanship,
general.
overall batsmanship in tough conditions, that skill has diminished
Yeah.
as a bunch. And I think that's the problem of cricket and not the problem of pitch. I clearly remember the third test match in South Africa where India were playing and India won that test match. When on the last day, even South Africans they started to say that the pitch is bad. When Jasprit Bumrah hit Elgar on the head, if you remember that pitch,
Yeah.
it was a merciless pitch, and it continued to get worse and worse and worse. And then on such pitches there was variable bounce, there was a disproportionate seam movement at high pace, balls were jumping from good length hitting batsmen. That is a really bad pitch. This is not a bad pitch, it was a good bounce, even bounce was coming, ball was spinning, so you
It
got.
is just you're no when you are playing for the turn and there is no turn and 21 batsmen are getting out that way out of
and it
40.
and a lot of people say,
Out of 30 rather 30 wickets
yeah,
went, no, India did not lose a wicket.
yeah.
So then there is something wrong. I think that its general ability to play spin on spinning tracks, you put in any side in world cricket now, everyone will struggle.
Yeah, and I think the
So,
difference was the bowlers, because the difference was the bowlers. I think the Indian spinners are much better, and I think similar thing happens is that somehow you will be able to find that one or two batsmen who will make a difference. When we go and travel to England, sometimes it is the Chris Wokes, batting at number 7, he scores a century. And when they travel to India, sometimes the likes of Jadeja and the Ashwins, they will score centuries. So I think it's a fairly even Steven this thing, and no point blaming the pitch and all of that. So
in general, I think, yeah, absolutely. I don't kind of blame the pitch. I think, uh, in general, world cricket standard of playing spin bowling, of course, despite being, biased towards India, I don't think that Indians uh, are playing spin very, very, very well.
yeah.
I don't
There
think
are
so.
a few genuine players of good, and I will tell you, TD, when a batsman plays good spinners really well, what are the kind of shots that you would see every time? The definition of playing good defensive, cricket comes to my mind, and Rahul Dravid obviously comes to top of the list. I remember when he would play the left arm spinners in India, his bat used to be at least 6 inches to a foot, in front of his pad, and he would always play the line of the ball so that if the ball spun, it would beat him. But he would always play the line of the ball. He would never stay adjacent to it. He would never thrust his pad and bat together, taking out the bat pads and things like that. So that is one example. The second example of playing attackingly well against spin, obviously, and the best example to my mind is VVS Lakshman. Nobody played spin in an attacking
He
fashion.
could play on the front foot on both sides of the cricket,
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah,
both
yeah.
sides.
Like he used to whip deliveries from wide outside the off stump to mid wicket. He was whipping Shane Warne, charging down the wicket, smothering his spin, and he would hit him ground shots on mid wicket, ground shots, not aerial shots. So those are the sometimes Pujara plays those shots, that
Because
charge
Pujara is the
down.
only person
Yeah,
who plays
yeah,
the ball late.
yeah,
If you remember, we were talking once about playing the ball late. I think during the Australia series,
yeah,
how many player Rohit Sharma plays the ball late. He has the ability to play the ball late, which is why perhaps he's also scored runs in this series. Very few Indian batsmen play on the back foot as the previous generation used to do.
yeah, yeah.
So
There is no late
I think
cuts
cricket
and
also
all.
has changed so much. They also adapt to the changing situations. But the bottom line is that I don't think even India is a good spin playing nation as a
Yeah, yeah,
batting
yeah, yeah.
unit.
Agree with you. Agree with you on that. Agree with you on that. So uh, uh, all set now. The last test match, we only need to defend, but hopefully we will win. The template is going to be the same.
Yeah, I guess they will not change the formula. I think it
Yeah,
will also be a winning track and all of those things. Uh, uh, the whole interesting part around uh, watching, you know, I don't remember what used to happen so much at the toss, but the toss somehow is becoming such an important thing in determining outcomes. I think England had won a very, very important toss this one. If they would have scored perhaps 200, 250 runs, this test match would have been absolutely different,
uh,
right? The toss is becoming so much crucial. Um, I don't know, suppose if it's a batting wicket, or if it's not such a turning track, what happens to the team that bats second? We saw what happened in Chennai in the first test. Because under pressure, anyone can wilt, however good a batting side you are. If you have to chase targets, especially in Test cricket. So that is one factor, but I don't think India will take a chance because there's a lot of things on the line,
yeah,
and it's fair as well. I
yeah. And
think
I
I
think
think
it
it's
is.
fair for the home team to take their advantage. They're
And
playing at home,
see,
right? So
any day I will back the Indian batsmen with their shortcomings to outscore the English batsmen with their skill sets against the respective bowling attacks in Indian conditions. Very
I would
simple.
also want to bring one more point. I don't know if you noticed that. I know England. We always say that you play to your strengths, right? We always say that you play to your strengths. England's strength is in the pace bowling department. But when you have Ben Stokes as your third seamer
Yeah,
on this wicket, why are you playing only one spinner
I think that was a grave miscalculation by them. Nothing else.
on this wicket especially? I don't know what they were thinking with.
See, if you notice the pitch, there was a fair bit of a grass, but it was only for the show, just to keep the pitch together. I think England got fooled in by that grass, and they thought that possibly under the lights, in the twilight zone, they will be able to swing the ball better. also the practice pitches, and I heard this in the commentary that the practice pitches which were given to England, they were real green wickets. So that might have
No,
that might have persuaded.
we don't know what happened there,
Yeah,
but in hindsight, this didn't look to be a very wise
I'm
decision of
I'm sure I'm sure that the English think tank, they were sold a dummy by the Indians. So they were shown something else and then sold something else. So when they actually played on the wicket, they would have realized that, oh my God, what just happened? So
And I
yeah,
think there was also some amount of discussion going on the pink shine of the or pink
yeah.
paint of the ball plus the seat color and all of those things were distracting because the seat color were orange or something like that. But anyways,
But the
uh,
stadium is
I
beautiful.
don't think I'm technically equipped to comment on that part. But
Yeah, but the stadium is beautiful. I really, really loved the look
yeah,
and feel
no,
of
no
it.
doubt about it.
World
No
class
doubt
stadium.
about it.
World
The
class.
stadium, especially the floodlights with a different kind of lighting
Oh yeah,
system,
yeah.
it looked really, really
And
beautiful.
the entire seating, I almost felt that I was watching a test match in Melbourne and not in Ahmedabad. It was so beautiful.
Yeah, no, no doubt about it. You have to give it to you give credit where it deserves. It definitely is a beautiful sight. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And so now, Didi, I know that we missed out catching up last week, but Australian Open, and we were discussing that, will it
We'll
be
come
good?
to Australian Open, but before that, I just want to check one thought on you. I think
Hmm.
it's a topic that is now doing the trends. I don't want to go into the debate of all-time great and all of those things. You can only do what you can do in your own era. So
Hmm.
let's not go into that debate. But how good is Ashwin?
Oh, yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, see, I mean, uh, my verdict is very clear, and I really, really don't know why R. Ashwin so far. Like the moment he took 200 test wickets he was the fastest to reach 200 test wickets in the history. He's also the fastest to 300 test wickets. He's the second
Mhm.
fastest to 400 because there was a little bit of a dip. Plus, he also played a lot of away test matches in this period. And despite that, it's only a difference of 4 or 5 test matches from
Five
Muttiah
test matches.
Muralidharan.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But in terms of the number of balls, he's still the fastest. So, that being said, I think Ravi Ashwin, he plays cricket like how cricket is played in video games. That is his mind. He tries to do different things, and the best part of Ravi Ashwin is that he has now learned to bowl like himself. He's not wanting to bowl like any other off spinner. So, for example, like the classical off spinning people who are side on and stuff like that. Uh, uh,
Absolutely. I don't think
so
you could have described it more perfectly.
so he
Absolutely.
knows that he's got the skill sets, and what really has struck me is now that Ravi Ashwin has got that control on how much drift, how much loop, how much spin to impart. The the beauty of his spin bowling, and I'm tracking this since the Australian tour, is that the control that which he might not he might not look like a big spinner of the ball. I remember in Australia a lot of commentators were saying that why Ashwin is not bowling outside the off stump. That's a far more attacking line. But Ashwin is actually bowling on off stump and middle stump, and he has the ability to hold the ball straight from there, and that is a very difficult ball. Ask Saklan Mustaq. When he used to bowl that ball, the dusra landing on middle and off and not turning, that is when the batsman actually get foxed. So I think I'm massively impressed with Ashwin, uh, and his craft has evolved. Uh, and obviously, to my mind, there is absolutely no doubt that in terms of skill, temperament, and the all-round value that he brings to the Indian team, he definitely is one of the best that the world cricket has seen in terms of not just spin bowling but bowling overall. I just think that had he been a Nathan Lyon is always thought like he's the greatest off spinner of the current generation. He's played 100 test matches. I agree that he's played most in Australia and all those places also. But even in India, his record is okay, not that great. But and R. Ashwin has also has had his own share of playing away test matches, and he has conquered those conditions now. So I think across conditions within India, Ravi Ashwin is a fantastic bowler. Even the great Anil Kumble. did not taste success on away shores uh, till the second half of his career. And it has happened to the best of the bowlers. James Henderson, in the first half of his career, he was just a track bully. And but people learn and evolve, and that is the
Yeah.
sign of greatness. So full marks to Ravi Ashwin, and I think it will be impossible, almost impossible for India to replace a bowler like Ravi Ashwin.
Yeah, let's not go there because you might we might find somebody getting involved there. But at this point of time, we have Ashwin, and I also
So
genuinely
at this
feel
point
that
of time, I just want to say that like if Ravi Ashwin is injured, India does not have an off spinner to replace him. As simple as it gets.
India doesn't have a spinner to replace him. Of course, Jadeja is there.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about him. Jadeja brings in a different dimension to the game. But the other point, as in I agree to everything that you said. There's nothing more that I can say. There's two things. One is Ashwin's control and his mind.
Yeah.
Control of his line length and control of his mind is
Absolutely.
is perhaps intersecting at the right moment and is at its peak. Number one, Ashwin is playing chess on the cricket field.
Yeah.
He's
Agree
playing
with that.
chess in the cricket field. And number three, I just hope Ashwin gets selected to our white ball team.
Hmm.
I hope because he has the confidence now. He's playing well. He's batting well. I think Ashwin and Jadeja will make a Chahal is bowling well and all of those things. But I just hope Ashwin finds himself a place in the white ball game for us.
And actually, Jadeja is
So
good enough to play as a pure all rounder now in white ball cricket.
Jadeja is
He's good enough to
I
play.
think he's the best all rounder in world
Yeah,
cricket
yeah,
now.
yeah. He's good
As
enough
in,
to
I
play
rate
in
him
number
above
six.
Stokes.
Yeah.
I rate him above Stokes because of his ability to play under any kind of situation in any type of wicket. Stokes, of course, is a great cricketer. I am a huge fan of Stokes, but I rate Jadeja, significantly higher than Stokes. Yes. Now coming to the Australian Open. Yes, please, you
Yes.
can.
So I was so disappointed because I was quietly supporting Medvedev, and I've been seeing his game for the last 3 4 years. He's got a really strong unconventional game. I like unconventional players. He's got an awkward two-handed backhand. He's got a ferocious serve. I think he's one of those players whose forehand actually is the weaker suit. So he's got everything in. And uh, what really impresses me the most about Medvedev is his ability to keep calm. He's got a very MS Dhoni kind of a demeanor. Like I've never really seen him getting frustrated on a tennis court except for that finals where he smashed a few rackets. So over to you, Didi. I was fairly disappointed in Medvedev. So take it up from the men's singles and then over to uh, continue along for women's single as well.
Look, as you had seen, I had gone with Djokovic as my
Yeah,
pre-tournament favorite, and I had predicted a
absolutely.
Djokovic Medvedev finally. It happened. You know, Sometimes we also need to pause, look back, and think. Right, start with Federer, now with Djokovic, Nadal. We just need to think how good are they? Djokovic was injured. He's After his match against Taylor Fritz, he somehow scraped through that match in the fifth set where he was injured. He said, "I don't even know if I can play." Of course, there are question marks with his injury, and people don't take him seriously about his injury. Leave aside all of those things. Novak Djokovic, when he needs to put a ball in the court, he will put a ball in the court. आप कुछ भी कर लीजिए, right? And you don't win Grand Slam tennis by just playing good tennis. You have to and you have to mentally outsmart your opponent.
Yeah,
If you watch, I think Djokovic might lose the next 4 matches to Medvedev, but you bring in a match at a slam, I can bet my life on it. Djokovic will be a different player altogether, and the same holds true for Nadal and Federer. We don't really know how great these players are. Maybe once they retire, we'll know. And I'm telling something from very technically here. The only player who could have beaten Djokovic in this surface was Federer because this was an extremely quick surface. This is where Federer's game is at his best. this year's Australian Open, I think, was faster than the previous years.
Yeah, it was.
Of course, Federer was not fully fit, and he decided to not he risk his
I think his target
as
is the
fans
Olympic
we
gold.
always talk about 2018, 2021, but as players they really don't they care about it. Djokovic has made it a point to break all Federer's record and all those things. But they play the game because they like the game. They've been playing it. And these players are at a different level altogether. Now, if you look at what happened, of course, if you look at it with the perspective of from a tennis perspective, somebody other than Djokovic and Nadal winning would have been good for tennis. But you have to earn your victory over these two players, right?
Yeah.
Now, the last US Open final, which happened between Thiem and Zverev, was the worst ever Grand Slam final I have watched in my life. It couldn't, because both players were nervous, and somehow somebody had to win. And I don't think if Novak Djokovic would have defaulted in that match by hitting that lines moment, he would have lost the US Open. So Djokovic would have been at 19 Grand Slams if that incident wouldn't have happened. First of all, do these players have the ability to beat them? Of course they have. But then why are they not beating them? How? Of course, in a 3-set match, they're beating them. But in a 5-set match, why? You have to look back and see how, like, when this used to talk about Pete Sampras, they used to say that Sampras did not have a second serve. What does it mean? Second serve. So I'm learning tennis now, and the coach is telling me that your second serve has to be slower. That is by definition.
Yeah.
Sampras' second serve was almost as quick as his first serve.
Yeah.
It gave him 14 Grand Slams. The great players in every generation are able to win matches they should not win, perhaps in a normal scenario. Djokovic, Federer, and Nadal, time and again in their careers, have won matches when they have not played well.
Yeah.
You see where the final got changed. Djokovic was 3-0 up. Medvedev came back and made it 3-3.
Yeah.
Both players were then almost solid on serve. Djokovic a little more vulnerable till the 6th game. On the 6th game, Novak was Novak again. Then came the crucial 12th game, where Djokovic played an outstanding shot from a Medvedev net cord passing shot at a point which gave him 2 break points. Medvedev saved one, but the next one would have been an ace against any player. Djokovic returned back with interest. Medvedev hit the ball in the net. The set was gone.
Yeah.
And then his mind was gone.
Yeah. I think that is where I also felt the Medvedev lost the match. The moment Joker broke.
I'll tell you from where this is coming. You remember XLRI Jamshedpur? We both of us were watching Djokovic versus Nadal in that common room. You remember, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Djokovic made his career by out Nadaling Nadal.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to beat Djokovic by out Djokovicing Djokovic.
Yeah.
And when Djokovic was playing Medvedev, experts were saying that he was playing basically another Djokovic, and Djokovic does not like Djokovic, but he even beat this Djokovic, right?
Yeah.
So he is injured and still he beats the hottest player on the tour, who has also won a big tournament by being unbeaten on 20 matches consecutively in 3 straight sets and a slam final. We need to appreciate what he's done. 9 Australian Open is not a joke. Federer has 6, right? And I still think that Federer is the greatest hardcourt player. Or let's not go into superlatives, but I still think on a fast hardcourt, Federer is. If perhaps I'll still give him a little edge over Novak. But what these people are doing, we will only be able to appreciate once they're retired, and we don't know when that is. Federer is supposed to make his entry again next week, right? I think the other critical point is Thiem losing. Man, you are 27 years old. You've played a 5-setter against Kyrgios, and next match you're gone. Where you are expected to be the next flag bearer of tennis
Yeah.
after the big three. You have to, Federer in his interviews said that at 35 years, said that every match I come to the court hoping that I will be able, I will have to play a 5-set match.
Yeah.
That's the mindset, right? Uh, so I think that it's and unless these people win these big tournaments, the breakthrough will never happen. 3 generations have gone. The 4th generation might also just go, because you never know what these people are. People said that Nadal will not be able to honor his
Sustain.
knees,
Yeah.
sustain his knees by the time he's 30. He's still winning French Open at 34, right? Or he's still playing very good in the other slams. He's won 2 US Open since his comeback. So these three are a freak. Let's just watch them, uh, appreciate them, and let's not just think about who has won how much, because I don't think in our lifetime we'll see such kind of
Yeah,
such
it's
level of
complete
greatness on a
complete
tennis court.
domination by these three. Now the women's circuit, Didi.
The women's circuit, look, I was hoping for a Simona Halep. Of course, in my head, I somehow knew that Osaka would be tough to beat. The good thing about Osaka is that after a long time, I have seen somebody who is I'm using the word statesman very knowingly. There are very few statesmen in world sport at this point of time. Everyone is kind of a yes sir mentality person. But Osaka is, you listen to her speeches, you listen to her press conference, you'll understand she has a point of view. You understand this is a much older and mature head speaking in a younger age. Physically she's so young. Physically, as in her physical age is so young, but her mental age is really mature. I look forward to listening to Osaka when she's speaking in her off-court interviews. In the US Open, she wore 7 different masks protesting against the Black Lives Matter movement. In Cincinnati, just before the US Open, she was brave enough to not care about her points and withdraw from the semi-final, right? Because she cares for a move, something, and she's ready to voice her opinion out. On the court, she is the player that Serena Williams doesn't want to face, because she's the better and the younger version of Serena Williams.
Yeah, faster.
Whatever Serena was doing, she was getting returned by interest.
Yeah,
In interest, if
more
Serena
th-
is
more
Serena
than
is the
that.
greatest server. Yeah, Serena is the greatest server in women's tennis history. Serena was being outserved by Osaka. Serena, if you've seen Serena in these slams, she's moving like a gazelle,
Yeah,
but she was of course outmoved by Osaka.
yeah,
Serena had taken a break. She was broken for 4 consecutive games. I think Osaka took the next 4 or 5 games to win the set. Even when Osaka closed out the match against Serena, she broke in the last game and then she closed out. So Osaka not only has the game, but she also has the mind. She will not randomly chase after records. She's, I think, not lost in her last 4 Grand Slam tournaments. I think women's tennis has found a statesman,
yeah,
not just in terms of a playing ability, but also in terms of someone that you really look up to. The way she was playing, I think Osaka's tournament changed when she beat Muguruza. By the way, I had slightly put, I looked, the way Muguruza was playing, I had put Muguruza kind of the favorite in the match against Osaka. Osaka saved match points to beat Muguruza, and then it was uh, plain sailing. The similarity between the two champions on both the men's side and the women's side is that both Osaka and Djokovic, the higher the stakes, the better they play.
yeah,
I watched Osaka's match against Azarenka in the US Open final. Azarenka was all over her. It just needed one spark for Osaka to change the momentum, and then she just didn't. No, it was one of the best Grand Slam finals that I've seen. So Naomi Osaka is an absolutely ambassador for women's tennis now. Of course, she needs to win on the clay and the grass to prove her all-round credentials. I'm not comparing her to Serena in terms of anything, because no one comes close to Serena. Uh, Having said that, Ashley Barty and kind of lost a match which she shouldn't have lost. Simona Halep was, she was beaten handsomely. So I think the deserving champion won. In the
Yeah,
men's side, I just hope somebody else won, but
yeah.
the way Novak was playing.
I was just sad.
Novak
See,
Djokovic, so I had tweeted that playing against Novak Djokovic is like playing against a computer in chess. You have to
see,
be perfect. You look at the way he moves, you look at the
great,
way
great players
he
will
is the
play.
perfect player.
Great players
I
will
know.
play, but somebody has to come in and beat them. That is the beauty of these sports, and it is not happening. It's really frustrating as a viewer, if you ask me. It's really, really frustrating.
It is, but again, if you look at it, I know, there are the Federer fans and there
I
are the
want to see
Nadal
a
fans.
young champion coming in, beating one of the greats, taking them down handsomely in round three, round four, like how Roger Federer beat the great Pete
नहीं
Sampras
हो रहा है. The
back in the.
upsets are not happening
When
because
yeah,
if
when that does not happen, then sports basically loses its charm. That's the worry.
there is 90s used to be a very very beautiful, because that's when I started watching tennis, and even if you go back to in tennis
If
history
Richard
also,
Krajicek would come and beat the bloody world number ones and world number twos and then go away, and I mean that
so
is
you
what
would have had
truly makes for
upsets.
great.
You would have had upsets, but now the upsets are not happening. One, because these players have reached that level, and second, because it's become more templatized. कि यही होने वाला है.
Ah,
So
but see,
unless these people win those matches, ये theory में नहीं हो सकता.
yeah, abhi,
I know
ye
Yannick Sinner is one
all
guy
these
who I
guys.
think has the ability.
See, all these guys, these 4 5 young people, they are good tennis players and they have great shots and they're physically fit and they're very strong kids. And people like Dani Medvedev, he's superbly strong. He's a lean guy. He's a Russian. He does not get tired either in the body or in the head and things like that. And just to get not like he was not beaten, he was insulted by Djokovic in the finals. He was insulted. I was watching that match, and you know, in in the middle of the second set, as a viewer, I just lost interest because I knew that Djokovic is playing with his head now. He's just returning everything. He's fooling it with the angles of the serve. A guy, Dani Medvedev's second serve is 190 kilometers per hour. For God's sake, you've got to win it on such a fast court.
He was winning, I think, 30% of his second serve points,
Your
if I
your your
remember correctly.
second serve is 185 to 190. Are you even human? And yet you are losing on a fast court. It's incredible.
Look, Medvedev lost the match in his mind. And that is why I have never seen Medvedev break a racket. He was
Never,
look.
never.
That is what happens when Djokovic is in somebody's mind, right? Federer cried in 2009 the Australian Open because Nadal was in his mind.
Yeah.
Once Federer solved that problem by altering his backhand and his racket and all, now is not. He's comfortable playing his Nadal on a faster surface. On clay, of course, let's not
But
go there.
but to me,
So,
Didi, there are few shots in tennis that I always enjoy. For example, from the back of the court, Roger Federer's one-handed backhand down the line, passing shots to approaching opponents. And this Australian Open also gave me one of such shots that Dani Medvedev played from a very defensive position against Tsitsipas. And for me,
yeah, I
that,
remember the shot.
yeah, oh, what a brilliant shot was that! What a brilliant shot!
Look, you can play brilliant shots. Of course, Federer's game is beautiful to watch because the single-handed backhand is beautiful to watch, right?
Yeah.
But if you ask me, if there is one tennis player who is the perfect, I know the RF in the perfect goes in rhyme. Federer is perfect as a tennis artist, but if you ask me who is the perfect tennis player, it's Djokovic, because he doesn't have any weakness. You look at his serve; he's like Federer. He has improved like Federer improved every part of his game as he evolved as a player. He won Wimbledon first playing from the uh, uh, forecourt and then playing from the backcourt, right? Wimbledon surface has changed and all those things. Every part of Djokovic's game is perfect. His forehand is perfect. His backhand is beyond belief. His movement is best. He can, because of his skiing experience, he can slide on the court. His service is become. I don't know what he's done with his service since Becker. His service has become impregnable. His volleying has become
His
better.
bowling
He
has
played a
become too good. Yeah, his
he
bowling has
played a
become too
volley
good.
from behind the service, behind the first
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
first
I
half of the
agree.
service line.
His volley game has improved
And more
significantly,
importantly, Djokovic is the strongest, mentally the strongest tennis player of all time.
and
Strongest.
physically
So
also.
that is physically. So you have
Physically
Nadal,
also.
and you have, of course, he is. But so at this point of
The
time,
guy
these
does not eat atta and gluten and all of that. His body is made of rubber, yeah. He's a
you have
robot.
to give it to these players. And I
Yeah, yeah,
and you see once Federer comes back, since 2015, the two best players have been Federer and Djokovic,
yeah.
and these are the only ones who beat each other. It's unfortunate that Federer has not been able to convert the big points against Novak in Wimbledon or even in the 2015 US Open. But the only player who can trouble Djokovic is Federer, and their matches will be the one which is the ones it
I just
will be
hope
worth
that
watching.
Federer gets the gold in Olympic this time. That's all.
We'll see what happens with the results. We don't know around that. First, let the
No, no,
Olympics
no.
get
I will.
happen.
Federer will win it.
And I think, before we end, I think, a word for one of my favorite golfers, Tiger Woods. Thankfully, his life is saved, but we just hope that he returns back to golf after that horrific injury, because one of the all-time great sportsmen of all time. To what happened with Kobe Bryant last year, we don't. Thankfully, Tiger
Yeah,
has managed to fight it out, and we just hope that Tiger recovers back, because this is one man who has literally changed one sport.
absolutely.
Golf viewership is all because what Tiger Woods did to it in the first half of this century. So wishes Tiger for a speedy recovery. And one final thought from you on the last test in
Yeah,
England
I think
versus India.
see Didi, Indian pitch curators, they've uh, they've uh, they've heard me. Right at the beginning of the series, I told them just give them dust bowls and roll them over in 2 days. It doesn't matter. Go to the WTC finals, play your best test team there, play Bumrah, play Shami, play Shan Sharma, play Ashwin, and win WTC and come back. It's okay. All's fair in love and war. So it's India 3-1.
Absolutely. Let's just hope when you speak next weekend,
I am hoping the test match will be over by then.
let's hope it's not a 2-day test match first of all, because we want to see more cricket.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We can settle down for a 3.5 day test match. Not to worry.
Sure. Thanks, Atan, and always pleasure talking.
See you, Didi, next time. Bye.